Oh, that's.
Hi, we are here at Calango. Hi, I'm Otávio. This is Jackson, and this is Bryan.
Hi.
And this is Rangel. We are here at Calango Hacker Club for a music hacking event. And this is Bryan. This is our star today. Here at Calango Hacker Club for a music hacking event. Sorry. Sorry. This is Bryan. This is our star today. I'll remove this one. Music hacking event. Sorry. Okay, but I won't hear. Sorry. Okay, but I won't hear. De quem é esse áudio? É o nosso?
Can you tell?
Now starting over. This is Bryan, and he's going to introduce himself and all these beautiful things he brought. Now starting over. Sorry again. Did I mute? Yeah, muted. What is this? Oh, sorry. I'm with another tab here. Sorry. Did I mute? This is here. Sorry. With a delay of 10 seconds. Now I found. Okay. Technical problems, but okay, now we can go and I can unmute this, I guess. And we hopefully we'll get to hear Bryan. Bryan, please.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Bryan Day. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area in California. And I build instruments, and I've been making things like this, stuff that you see here for probably the last 20 years. All the stuff that you see here, other than these like sort of effects modules here, are things I built in the last 3 weeks, just for this trip here to Brazil. And I'm here in Brazil because I'm helping put together a science museum that's going together downtown. That's going to be opening at the end of the year. And so I wanted to have some stuff that would fit in my bags in my suitcase, so I made these things. All of these have little piezo transducers that I put together that are shielded, like this. And each one of these modules has similar things, but this is the most visible one right here. These pick up the vibrations of various things that I attach them to. This one here is connected to a carbon fiber filament right here, and I can move this back and forth like this and play it with a screwdriver handle.
Nice.
All right, and I'll start over here with some of these other things and kind of describe why I did some of the things I did. This piece here is basically just a bunch of kalimba-like objects. These are little metal tines, and these are tines from the inside of a melodica. They're the reeds of a melodica. And this is a little toy piano harp right here. And these are spring nuts. These are used for holding things into tracks that you mount into the ceiling. These are a couple bells that I found that I like to play with a bow. Also with the spring nuts over there, I like to kind of roll a ball. You can get some cool sounds out of it by rolling a ball over the top of it. Let me get some of the. So I like to kind of play it like that. So this module here and this module clamp together with these little clasps here. So I can actually fold this on top of this and clamp it together into a little box that I can carry around that's pretty light. So here we have this thing with a carbon fiber rod. This is some springs that I play. And these are a bunch of measuring tapes, and these actually come off of this whole assembly here when I'm packing up. I just put them in a plastic tube. But the measuring tapes, you can get a lot of kind of low pitch gong type sounds out. And what I've been doing recently is this box here is a little amplifier unit that takes the sound from this whole chunk right here, amplifies it, and spits it back out at the measuring tape using this electromagnet. So I can position this electromagnet in some way and turn this on, and then kind of get it to start feeding back on itself. I might have just unplugged it. Yeah, let me plug that in. There was a ticking sound that was, so I can kind of, if I undo this, I can place it next to another, like that, and you can get kind of the oscillation that it makes as it's moving. Kind of this.
Nice.
And then I can just turn it off with this switch here. These have a similar thing inside as well. This electromagnet here can drive these. Oh, I didn't plug it in, but maybe I'll find the cable and plug it in.
Okay.
But I have two outputs here, and I can just drive these springs or drive this string here, kind of like an EBO or something like that. This box here is a little MIDI controlled FM radio. So I have this MIDI controller here, and I can just play. That's really impressive, right? Let me reset it here. Maybe I turned it off. Okay, this goes to that, and that's turned all the way down. That's why it's on. Okay, so I can change the station, and this is
real radio, FM radio.
Yeah, FM radio here in Brasilia.
Nice.
And this is like an envelope control, so attack, delay, sustain, and release. So I can change how quickly it starts and stops. I can just kind of make it.
So nice.
Take my money.
All right, and I have that going through. This is a little mixer I bought. I thought it was better than it was. It's small, and it has like a bunch of the same inputs throughout the whole thing, but it doesn't have much amplification. So after the day I got here, I had to put a lot of time into trying to figure out how to make these two effects modules boost the sound enough to make it loud enough to use for anything. So there's a bit of digital distortion from this one, especially with these. Like if I hit these too hard, they crackle quite a bit more than they normally would, and that's kind of the fault of this.
Oh, okay.
So and then this. So we have a sliding. We have a sliding. So we have a sliding string here, and I like to play it. You can either play it with by using like a bow or something. I like to kind of use this thing.
Nice.
Nice. And then this piece here, the springs on the top, I like to kind of change the position of sort of this. This is like the bridge of the springs here, and I can. So I can make it higher pitch when I get this way, and lower pitch when it's this way. And I like to kind of, it's kind of fun to bow these things. So. And it's good. The string has a tremolo that I can control, and that's what the sound is that you're hearing there. And I have these two effects modules that I'm controlling with this thing here, so I can change and they're labeled in this cryptic way that I can't really quite figure out. But like kalimba, that's a band low pass filter, and there's like the spring nuts low pass filter, and then this thing I call a roto whisker. So roto whisker filter, and then this is the tape slow fast filter, and there's like a reverse kind of thing. So if I turn this up, I can
This controls the mixer.
This controls these effects modules.
Oh, okay.
All right. So let me turn some of these things up. So I kind of also like to kind of bow this piece. So pull it back a little like this.
Nice.
And maybe turn it up a little bit. Here. Let me give it a little more bass. Here, I'm gonna change some settings here real quick, just because it's a little. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. All right. Yeah, that's better. So that's all right. And then the tapes. Give it a bit more of this. All right. And then by rotating it, I can change like how strong the effect is. Like, and so this right here. Oops, sorry. So I brought this little solitary piezo to Brazil as something to use for recording the sounds of things in my hotel room and other places. But I basically I solder the cable to this transducer here, and then I use a press like an arbor press to crush this brass piece into a dome shape to shield it, to keep it from buzzing.
Okay.
And then I solder it in 3 places to kind of hold it on like that, and that gives it a much cleaner sound than if you were to just solder the wires to the center. There's a ceramic piece in the middle of this that produces electricity when you bend it, and that's what makes the sound. So, but doing it like this gives it a very clean sound in contrast to that. So, I like to use things like, here's some like sort of Dungeons and Dragons dice.
Random music.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm kind of all about random music. So let me try to get this a little less. Let's have this backwards. Yeah, I have these. Okay. And then let me turn this one down. And so I like these spring nuts. You can kind of. I turn that on too. So let's get that. It sustains for quite a while. Let's see. This is it's like a table, some kind of cleaning brush from. I think this is from. I don't know where it's from, but I think it's from Central America somewhere. But I like to kind of crush things. Or
What is? Take. There is a piezo somewhere. I
there's
guess.
one right here, and I think there's one right here.
Okay.
Yes. Or this little blender kind of thing. Use that on. it's kind of more random.
Nice.
Same idea with this one here. I can hear something starting to feed back a little bit somewhere. Okay. But yeah. I really like the handles of these. This is like a drum brush, but the handle has some nice ridges. There's like a little bit of feedback somewhere, and I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. Okay. It's like a pull chain for like a light or something, and like
Okay.
more random. I kind of think this is probably the best way to make music.
Nice.
And a little brush, or a comb. And let's see. So these are made from little balls, from like super balls from like a dollar store, a little cheap kind of store. Let me see something. Repeats. Spring. This one. Okay. So yeah, I kind of like these. These work really well for the tape sound. Need up that a little bit. So one thing I can do is I can take this, position it like this, turn it on.
Nice.
So it's like a little,
Very well.
like a little, yeah.
Like a violin or something.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it kind of loses it. Like there's certain Let's try it. Try it. Sometimes like folding it in different ways gets better.
It's like a ghost or something.
But really, it's kind of best when you just have it, when you have the longest thing you can. And you just let it kind of shake.
Like when we had the fun on.
Yeah. So yeah. Do you have any questions about how I do anything?
There are people. Edwin's son is sending a hi from.
Oh, hey, Edwin.
Phil. Say something for him.
Oh, hey, Edwin, how you doing?
And Phil said that he liked the dice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was it's tricky. It can be kind of tricky drilling the holes in these in them, and they're just epoxied in place, like that. There's like just a glob of epoxy on each side.
And maybe some people got angry that you
damaged it.
Their toy. I noticed some reverb or some echo coming. It's from the effects pedal.
Yeah, I can. There's a little bit of stuff that I can turn it down a bit. It was just kind of like how I had it set up earlier. Okay, so. Oh, and there's like there's this and this and this. From a couple of nights ago, I was having a recording session, and I had with Jackson over here, and I had the reverb turned all the way up after a point. So yeah. So when I do that, when I turn it up, it should. I don't know. And maybe that's this one. Maybe if I turn this low down and turn that up. Let's see if I can get a better sound of that. There, that's a little bit more substantial there. So yeah.
I ask it because some of the sounds are from the instruments itself. Now it reverbs a certain way. So I think
yeah.
What
so now it's only the instruments. So,
nice.
So this is only the instruments. So yeah. These have a lot of low pitch to them. So I will cut it a little bit. But...
And you don't need the effects.
No,
the instrument is beautiful. Nice.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
Yeah. I kind of want to make a big board with a bunch of these string nuts, like 10 by 10, like 100 of them, and just kind of roll things around on them.
Nice.
They like to feed back a lot, though, so it's kind of tricky. These sort of a pain. Like these ones, if I don't.
You said you needed a cable for that.
Oh, I jammed some. Oh yeah. Yeah, we could find. Do you have a mono? It needs to be an 1/8 inch, so a 3 millimeter.
Okay.
Or smaller, yeah. Or 2.5 mil, or whatever that is. Yeah.
Maybe have a bunch here.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Sweet. So what I discovered while building this is that if there's any bounce in this part here when you have spring,
so they are stereo. Is there a problem?
it might work. Now you can try it. It might be in my bag, and so
maybe later we try it with a proper one. But
yeah, let's just see if it works. Okay. So, I gotta disconnect. So I gotta pull this out from here, plug it into here, and I need to take this and plug it in here, and then if I turn this. Wait, that's that one. This is this one.
And there is a circuit here of some kind because you have a battery.
Yeah.
It's an amplifier, but
yeah, each thing has its own little amplifier. Okay. Let's see. So that's coming through. I don't know if it might. Using the stereo one might screw it up.
Okay.
So it might not work with that.
Okay. No.
If you
find another one.
Yeah, if you want to go, if someone at some point in time wants to go through my big suitcase,
okay.
There might be one in there.
Oh, okay.
Sweet. let's see. So yeah, so I started building instruments in probably like 1998. The first things I made were made out of bass guitar parts. I had this thing. I think I still have it in storage somewhere, but it's like a couple of bass guitar strings that attach to a container for holding, like a metal container for holding vegetables. And I think it's for like from a restaurant or something. It was at a secondhand store, and I filled that with water, and had a bass guitar pickup that picked up the sound of the strings. And you'd fill the container with water, and then the thing would bounce around. You didn't see it. It might be in here.
Yes, there wasn't
anything. Oh wait, maybe this is it. No, that's not it. Maybe I forgot it. Yeah, it's possible I forgot it. Yeah.
It's a performance.
Yeah. All right. So
No problem.
So let's see. So yeah, those are that's my first instrument, like a first thing that wasn't like a circuit bent Casio keyboard, which was like this 2 strings, a metal container for vegetables filled with water, and then 1 string at the bottom, and then tuners up here at the top and a tuner at the bottom, and then you fill the container with water and bounce it around, and the water moving around in the container would kind of change the timbre of the sound going to the pickup. And then eventually I kind of started doing stuff with measuring tapes. I was like, I've been doing this for a long time. This came out of actually I played a show in Washington, D.C. for this little festival called Sonic Circuits Festival, I think in like 2006 or 2007. And they were doing construction on the building or renovation on the building. And there was like, I had this big container of instrument parts that I called the Crate of Woe, which was like this terrible heavy thing. It was like 100, I don't know. It weighed almost as much as a person. And we had to carry it up numerous flights of stairs and whatever. But it had these, there are these things, you probably have some here or something like it. They're like alligator clips that you use for holding things while you're soldering them. So I had amplified version of that. So whenever I play a show, I'd find something and attach it to the thing that I found, and attach the thing I found to that, and then amplify and play it. And this place in DC, I found a measuring tape because of the construction that was being done on the building, and used that. And from there on, I kind of like, I got to make something out of this. And when I got back to where I was living at the time, which was Omaha, Nebraska, in the middle of the U.S., I took a speaker cabinet and basically made something like this, where I screwed a bunch of measuring tapes to the side of a speaker cabinet and used that as my base of the instrument. And eventually, I kind of changed the design of the way it's mounted. There's a lot of different, like this one, if you look at the back of it here, there's like a lot of like, I see. I have this kind of...
Sorry. Let me put this one camera here.
I see.
And then we can show
things. Yes. So I have this shape here. So the sound for these measuring tapes comes from the transition between being flat at the bottom and the curve. So this part here is where most of the sound comes from. Like most of the tones come from that area. So controlling that change gives you better control of the tone, because I've found that you can make measuring tapes of any length, and it's difficult to determine what the tone is going to be from just like the length. It doesn't translate, like a longer one doesn't always translate to a lower pitch. It's more what happens in this area in combination with the lengths. But that area, like if you clamp it harder, it might get higher pitch, it might change in pitch. But by changing the way that you can, by controlling that transition, by having a curve like that, you can get a much better sound.
It's the design of this piece that matters most.
Yeah,
it matters more than the size of the.
Yeah, that's true. And for the self-resonator circuit here with the electromagnet, like I found that it actually works better if this is a good range. If they're too long, like you won't be able to vibrate it enough to get a low frequency, and it'll just do overtones and give a loud, high-pitched sound.
Nice.
So you can only really get a good control of like lower-pitched kinds of sounds from around like this length to like something like that. But I have one. There's a YouTube video that I made like a month and a half ago of something that has like the entire measuring tapes down here, so you can change the size and you can make them like super long. And it has an electromagnet for each tape and a little MIDI it has a little keyboard and you can connect a MIDI keyboard to it and you can play it and it sounds almost like a brass instrument, like some kind of weird like trumpet like sound or something, like an extended trumpet kind of sound.
So what is exactly the effect that having different lengths?
Well, it does affect the sound, but not as much as you would think. So like
more the timbre than the tuning.
Yeah, it's like if you can control this properly, like that with that curve like that. If you can do that, you can get the pitches to change this way, but it's still not that accurate. Like it's like I can't like if I tune it to a certain pitch by making it a certain length and tightening it a certain way, like if I was to go back and try to reproduce that, it's never going to be exactly the same. So you got to like kind of tune it every time if you're ever going to tune it. I sold a few, instruments to some folks in the US that I had tuned, and then it turned out that they had to retune it every single time they even touched it, or
like a grand piano.
Yeah. So the springs like this, I've been using these balls in different ways. This one, I had another instrument that had springs kind of like the ones down here, and I used a lead ball. Like I don't know if they sell these here in Brazil, but in the US they make these sphere-shaped balls made out of lead, and they use them for fishing.
We don't have it.
Yeah. So they're not exactly the healthiest thing in the world, but they really stop the sound. So like if you put it here, like there aren't very many there's no sympathetic sounds created on the other side. If you hit it here, this side is kind of dead, and it's kind of sometimes like overtones and sympathetic sounds coming from other things are great, but if you're trying to sort of get a specific tone, it can, especially with these things that haven't been refined over centuries, it's kind of like, it's nice to be able to have something that like a reliable sound. So the lead ball was great, but it's heavy and doesn't work in an airplane so well, and it's not the healthiest thing to have around, So I don't know.
I think you can play something for us if you feel like. I don't know.
Yeah, I could do something. I don't.
Angel, do you have something to ask him?
Yeah. Any questions or any thoughts?
Excellent, your research and production. I was amazed by the FM synth.
Oh yeah.
Very nice.
Yes.
It's not what I thought when he said FM synth.
Modulation.
FM radios.
And everything's so different that we don't have.
One can choose the station, the frequency of the pickup of the stereo.
This changes the frequency. I have it divided into the half. The same divisions that are used in the U.S., which I don't know if it's the same here.
Here the user was from 90 to 110.
That's close.
Yeah.
That's pretty close. So yeah, so it's that, and then divided into the number of.
May I?
Yeah.
Just search for the radius.
And it doesn't. It might be off a little bit. So
we don't have as many stations as you have there, I guess.
Yeah, maybe there's some that I might be too high or too low. Let's see.
Oh, change the octave.
There's
Have something there. Nice.
you'll get like a copyright.
Yeah, infringement, yeah, I understand.
And so yeah, there's inside of here is there are a number of different modules you can get in from I don't know what you can probably get them from like Amazon, Brazil, or I don't know what, or some other place, but it's a pretty cheap radio module, and I have
an SDR, maybe SDR, software defined radio. No?
Yeah, it's kind of like even cheaper than that. This is just like basically a cheap FM radio that on a board that you can make your own like radio out of you can attach a potentiometer to change.
Oh, receives like a CV.
Yeah, it can receive something like that, and well, actually, it's like I think it's SPI connection to. So I just use an Arduino, and then the envelope stuff is there's a digital potentiometer that is going to the output, and some simple Arduino code that I have that says like, when you start, look at this, and then like and it has a bunch of time values that are mapped to like positions in a frequency envelope, and then so these relate to those, and then the potentiometer just opens up and closes depending on the amount of time since the last key press or
Okay, very clever.
Nice.
Yeah. So all right. So I'll just do some stuff. Let me see if I can find a good way of.
And is it feasible for you to get in a CD and fine tune it to get to the local stations?
Yeah.
Is it too hard to recode that?
I probably I would need to. What was that about the CD?
That if you get to some CD to reprogram it to go exactly to the frequencies of the
it could be done. I probably
hard code it on the Arduino.
Yeah, I don't have any like knobs
Yeah,
that control that, but
just...
it could easily be done. Yeah, and it's nice to know. Are they all like divisible by like 5, like 0.5?
And it could dynamically change, right?
Yeah. If you have a pitch bend knob, that would change. That would give you an analog control of it, which would be nice. I mean, in a way, it's kind of like I was messing around with this, and then I was like, well, you have a knob on the radio anyway, so it's like, so it's cool being able to jump around and then tune it up and down. But then like if it's just the knob, it's like, well, that's just the radio. So.
You would get a different acceleration on the bands.
Right. The problem is like the new FM radios are like the little modules. They're all kind of smart, and they try to find the closest frequency, and then they like kind of jump to it. So it's hard to get a really like analog kind of transition between frequencies. All right, so let me get some stuff here. This is gonna be super. Get this sounds here. Let me see if I can get this as loud as I can without like beating back. Let me mess with this EQ a little bit. So turn the mids up, treble up, bass a little.
Não, altitude.
Não, eu só vou gravar aqui. Não
Ah, tá.
vou. Vai, put your pencil, please.
Oh. There you go. Okay, so let's see here. Ooh, that's nice. So I'll just start and do things, and if you want to tell me what to do in the chat.
Nice.
All
People in the chat, please.
Make your requests.
Yeah,
Song
make
requests.
the request. This is like
John Cage, do some John Cage.
yeah.
Legal.
Thank you.
Nice.
Very nice. Congratulations.
All right, thank you. Yeah, any questions?
People like the crazy kalimba.
Is that a tomato? Un tomate? So yeah.
Phil asking for more cowbell.
What was the help in Japan? Help ta assistindo
Oh, right, all the one.
Japão.
Are you watching from Japan? And he said that this spring stuff sounds fantastic.
Cool.
The bouncing giving it a rhythm. Nice.
Awesome.
I'll send you guys the recording.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I noticed that you got into a kind of a trance, and you guys just
so
schools,
yeah.
what's cool?
Any questions? Anything anyone want to know about what I do, why I do it? I don't know why I do it. I just make things. Is this still going? Yeah, it's still on. Okay.
This guy G Madunas, he's asking. So, do you not use the Behringer piezo preamps?
No. Do they make little? Oh wait, actually I did. There was but it wasn't a specific Behringer preamp. It was like a. They made this like acoustic guitar pedal that was for boosting piezos and acoustic
I think
guitar.
Erica has a piezo that has a clip on.
Oh yeah. I don't use those. I just because they all have they all make a lot of hum, and and the reason I do this is that stops the humming. Yeah, and so if you can encapsulate the signal portion as much as possible, you'll eliminate the humming. And a lot of people cover it in epoxy and then put tape over it, but the more mass you apply to the ceramic, it kind of filters out some of the frequencies when you do it that way. So what I do is I put a little tiny blob of epoxy over the solder point, and just to kind of secure the wire to the edge. And then other than that, I don't put any epoxy on it. And actually it might be a good idea to put a little bit of it on it, because I found that when I don't put any on it, they crack very easily. So maybe there's some middle ground to that where I could put just a thin skim of epoxy onto it. But yeah, I've never used Behringer's clip-on piezos, but I have used their preamps before.
Okay, your friend Edwin sent wash hands. It's a clapping of some kind, I guess. Okay, and Ben said, "Awesome, Bryan."
Cool. That's maybe one of my coworkers. And
Ben? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Ben, identify yourself, please. And cool. Then Jim Modunes as well. You lose the low end on the piezos if there is no matching preamp, right?
Right.
It can sound tinny.
Right. Yeah. If you don't, so everything I have has a piezo preamp built in. I make my own
preamps.
There are. Actually, I can
this one.
No. I don't make that, but it's hard to show you. So for the smaller ones, I buy these Schatten preamps, which you can get a little double preamp for $30 or something like that. It's what this is in the back there. You can kind of see it right here. This thing.
Okay.
And it's called a micro pre. I use those when I don't have enough time to make my own.
Okay.
And I do have one in here, which is like a 5-channel preamp that I make, and they're just made from JFETs. And I'm trying to. A friend of mine and myself have been kind of working on finding the perfect kind of preamp to use for piezos, because these only boost the sound by a few decibels, and it would be nice if it boosted it by at least 10 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
And most piezo preamps only, the max you'll find with a piezo preamp is 5, and that's not very much. So it doesn't really. That's why having a good preamp in your mixing board is useful. But I bought this thinking it was going to be great for but it's actually a pain in the butt. So, yeah,
Nice.
cool. And
I like it when the container became an instrument too, because you brought this. I thought it was just a story stuff, and then suddenly it became part of the instrument.
Yeah, this is I don't remember where I got this. I might have gotten this on a trip in Europe. Like I was playing a show and I needed something to put something in, and someone just had this in their like kitchen or something. And gave it to me.
Nice.
But it's really, it's like it's acrylic, and it's really like it hasn't died on me. I think it's acrylic. Maybe it's not, but it might be something.
It's not glass.
Yeah, it's not glass,
but it's thick. It's a good one. Yes.
And this is a bocce ball. I've used this for a number of different projects. This is I found the paint. I think I mentioned this to some friends of mine who might be listening. I bought a paint that I found which has the same composition as audio cassettes had in the 70s. It's the same ferrous oxide or ferric oxide or whatever. It's the same kind of ferrous oxide. So I was there was a project 6 years ago that I was making like this spherical tape loop machine where you can record on
nice.
But it's not very smooth, it's like it's heavy and nice, and I didn't go too far with it because there was a show in the big art museum in San Francisco of like sound art pieces like while I was working on this, and there just happened to be this Japanese artist who made almost the same thing. Okay. And so I was like, so I just use this ball for a lot of stuff now because it's like a wooden ball and it's pretty heavy.
Not a tomato then.
Yeah, it's not a tomato.
Okay. Jim O'Donis is asking, can that dual long spring instrument be excited at the end?
Yeah.
Looks like a motor at the end.
Yeah, so that's what I needed the cable for. So this also works the same way as this. So as this one. Yeah, so this will produce a feedback loop like an EBO if you turn it on. But it needs a mono cable, and I didn't have it.
Okay.
But see, then you can turn it and position it to different.
Just like this one, you position it so that you get the frequencies or the oscillation. Right?
And then you can use it on the string or the spring. See.
Yeah.
It's a little trickier because I have this neodymium magnet at the end, which is really kind of strong, and sometimes it sucks the spring to it. So I still kind of working out the bugs on that because it kind of makes the spring move when I get it close. So, but if I put it in the middle, it would just definitely suck it down. Yeah,
and what is this?
Oh, okay.
Sticky thing.
That is a carbon fiber rod.
Okay.
Yeah, they use them, at least in the US, you can buy these in like hobby shops for the purpose of reinforcing angular joints in model airplanes.
Okay.
So you can like glue it in a place so it doesn't tear at that spot.
Yes.
And so
initially I didn't see that it comes all the way off.
Yeah, so it comes all the way out of the thing. And that's why I have like nothing there. So. And see, when I fold it up, this handle fits in this bell here.
And the airport staff is okay with that? Any issues
You have
there?
to play a shoulder program.
Sometimes I've had problems, but not in this trip. They didn't even open my suitcase this time. I was surprised. Usually, at least there's like a little note inside that says, "We've looked through your things just for security purposes or whatever." And there was nothing like that on this trip, so I think it worked out.
Nice.
I don't know why. I would have thought someone would have gone through it. Sometimes I feel bad when they don't go through it, like it's not scary enough or something.
And all these travel nicely. You have cases for everything.
Yeah, I make these little. I can show you.
And you always pay extra for the luggage, or no?
Do I pay extra? No, I have a scale at home, and I always weigh everything, and it never goes over.
Okay.
And I don't bring more than that. Most of this stuff, like I could technically bring all of this stuff with just that backpack and a small carry-on container, but I didn't really it's hard to get it in there, and it's easier just to bring the bigger one. But I make these guitar pedal wrap things out of old laptop cases that I found, like used ones. So I sew a piece of Velcro on the end there, and then you could just put your pedal inside and then Velcro it shut so it doesn't get damaged. So
Nice.
And here's a bigger one, same kind of idea with these. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Are there a lot of like second-hand stores, like places where you can buy used things like that?
Some, we have some, yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I get that stuff from.
Phil is asking if that's a spherical tape.
Mm-hmm. What was
spherical tape? I don't know what.
Oh,
Phil,
it's about the ball that you were about to use it as a spherical tape.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Where's the question?
I don't know.
Oh,
Talk more about it.
Maybe.
How was the device that recorded sound?
Okay, so it was two Omni wheels and a singular just support wheel, so in a sort of like two right angle Omni wheels.
Like a trackpad?
Omni wheels are those wheels that have wheels on them. You see them in like little robot projects. Okay, so they allowed me to have them at a 90-degree orientation without one influencing the other. So if only one was moving, the wheels on the other one would roll and it would go in one direction. It wasn't perfect, but it kind of worked better than having to figure out like the math of like doing something in a sort of triangular orientation, because I was trying to go that route at first, and it was just like everything is kind of crudely made, so it was like the ball isn't totally spherical, so like it always kind of like rotate at an angle. When I was doing the math right, it would always go at an angle even. So I was like, okay, if I just have the two things right at 90-degree angles from each other and use Omni wheels, I can actually get it to, track properly. So imagine that, and then a joystick controller that controls those Omni wheels with like little stepper motors. And I use these stepper motors for everything, and now I'm not using stepper motors for everything because they're kind of noisy and it doesn't work great for a lot of things. But at the time I was using stepper motors. Then you had buttons. Well, then you have reed heads. Like I tried to do this thing where I had like a big ribbon, like a bunch of audio cassette reed heads in a row. So like 6 or 5, I can't remember. And then or right heads, 5 or 6 right heads in a row, and then one reed head. And then it would like write the same thing all over so that it wouldn't miss. Because unless you get it perfect, like it's almost always going to go a little off. And a couple of friends of mine and I were trying to figure out the best way of doing it. And like we're like, oh, maybe if you painted it with some kind of, or you put some kind of substance that lit up when a laser hit on it, you could put a photo sensor on the other side, or some photo sensor array there to adjust. So if it sees that the thing's moving away, it can like tweak it. And then I saw another thing that was almost the same thing. It wasn't, it didn't record. It just played like classical music.
So on your system, it was like if the right heads were leaving tracks on the ball, the recordings.
A bunch of them, yeah. So that at least it's something.
It could be played like mixing the
yeah, you could move it this way. There's a few pictures, and there was a crappy video of it. I mean, it didn't really it was really noisy, and because this thing isn't very smooth, it
You should go ahead with this project. It would end up being different from the other guy.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I had the time at the time I was working on it to actually totally get it working well, but I still have a lot of the parts. So so that was like 6 years ago.
Phil said that it was not really a question. He was just impressed by the concept.
Oh yeah,
like we are. We are together in that. Nice.
Cool.
If you couple that with the FM synth, that's really amazing.
Oh yeah.
Changing, mixing, recording it.
Wow.
Various balls playing at the same time.
Sampling the FM radio into a ball. Wow.
So this actually has 2 FM receivers in it, and I was trying to use the same antenna for it, and the modules didn't play well together, and it just made like this loud sound. And I was like, well, I don't really need 2 of them to play at the same time at the moment, because most of what you get is static. So like two two very similar sounding statics don't really do anything interesting when you play them at the same time. It's just like loud static. So, but yeah, eventually I'd like to figure out a way of doing that where it doesn't make a really annoying sound. And what is that? That's
Eufrasio has joined us very early in the transmission, but we didn't have a chance to talk to him, and I don't know if he's there right now. He's streaming something. I think we would try a collaboration, but I don't know. Eufrasio, are you there?
We were talking about it, but I couldn't get the software to run on my laptop when I was
okay.
So yeah.
Eufrasio, are you there? I saw that he unmuted his mic, but
Maybe
Hello.
he's just.
Tá me ouvindo agora?
How you
yes.
doing? Na verdade, while Bryan was showing his instruments, I was mixing him with two fellows from the orchestra and streaming it live. So
cool.
we already made a live improvisation with your instruments, Bryan.
Nice.
Awesome, that was great. So we had talked, and I thought my computer would just work doing it, but it had some issues. I can't even get the software to start. I re-downloaded it and tried it again, and it wouldn't start. I was like, But yeah, I don't know. Anything else? Anything?
Do you have questions, Eufrasio?
Yeah, I guess you haven't really seen me play the way I normally play. There he is. Hey.
Yeah. Now we can hear you.
Oh yeah, muted. You have muted yourself.
Sorry.
Então chegou o Renato com a Tati.
Wow. Just a minute, Eufrasio. Renato.
Okay.
Você pra chegar, você entra, sobe pra descer.
Ai, à vontade.
Você sobe pra descer. Deixa pra caramba. Saca o eixo? Eixo. E aí,
Bryan.
Da área da música eletrônica.
I'm Bryan.
E eu design que rola.
Awesome.
Bom demais,
Tá
Renato.
batendo baixo ali na onda que ela tá fazendo. De Lula lá. Tá fazendo com o cara do cantante comigo. E eu fazendo os líquidos. Aí, ela bateu baixo. Cara, fiquei impressionado porque ela gostou. Né?
Então, a gente fez um som, Renato.
Sim.
E agora a gente tá batendo papo aqui com o Eufrasio. Eufrasio fez um som a partir do nosso som.
Ele faz o Marão.
Eufrasio tá aqui em Brasília, né, Eufrasio? Pode falar aí.
Esse barbudo aí.
É.
Eu me lembrei, pensei que ele toma do
Tô em Brasília.
Pensei que ele toma, acho que faz uma música fundiana, lembra do Toma?
Não, Thomas?
Toma,
Não lembro.
O Aquino?
Thomas
Toma, ele anda lá pela Chapada, lá, o Toma. Então, é inglês, ele é baiano inglês. Baiano mexicano, como é o nome da banda, cara? Era. O Diana Banda.
Era famosa isso aí.
A banda da galera que se juntava. Não era um negócio de meditação mesmo, todo mundo viajava muito na fogueira com aquilo naquela época. Aí deu pra descer um pouco, essa barba lembrou dele, mas esse cara é mais novo. Tem uma mais velha, esse já é xamã, sabe tudo xamã.
Did you know Renato already? No?
I've seen your picture.
Ele viu suas fotos na internet.
Yeah,
ele leu sobre você. Porque você é um cara famoso. Você é um cara famoso.
Oba!
He's famous. He's happy that he's famous.
Yeah, when I was researching Brasilia, your name came up many times.
Quando ele estava pesquisando Brasília, apareceu seu nome várias vezes.
Lembrando que nós é daqui em diante.
A gente é daqui em diante. We are from here onwards. And beyond, yes.
Nós somos daqui pra frente, só. Não é nada. Entendeu? O que já aconteceu.
The history is behind.
O que aconteceu está no museu.
What happened is at the museum. He
Ele
works at the museum. Ele trabalha no museu.
não fala português, não.
Não.
Agora que eu pensei que era um menino aqui de Taguatinga.
He thought that you are a local.
No. I'm from San Francisco, California.
Ele é dos Estados Unidos.
Somos mesmo raça.
Semi-race.
Entendeu?
Do I know what?
Semi-race.
We're the same race. You get it?
Same race. Yeah.
Semi-family.
Yeah, same family.
Phil is asking that you play a little for Renato.
Yeah.
So that Renato can hear what you can do.
I live in Boston.
Yeah, let me.
But that-
ano, sabe? Mas eu não falo inglês direito. Eu sou igual Tarzan e Jânio.
He said that he lived in Boston, but he didn't learn
Mas eu me
English.
salvei porque eu faço música. Então, a música é a linguagem universal.
He saved himself playing music because music is a universal language.
Maybe.
Sometimes.
Ele mora aqui, aí você me falou dele, ele mora aqui.
Não, ele mora em São Francisco, nos Estados Unidos.
Aquelas caixas que ele tem e tal, é assim, a onda é muito mais prática aqui, ó. O meu negócio é muito grosseiro em geral, assim, casar. Mas aqui, sério. A caixa que vem aqui desse
No
negócio,
computador. Ah.
e o cara chamado Tonu, lá nos Estados Unidos,
É o som que ele faz. Springboard.
Yeah.
Nós alcançamos o que almejamos, o que exercitamos, porque nós vamos chegar no lugar. Não importa, você não está entendendo, você vai ter que
Translate. Start.
Yeah, yeah.
Começa de
Não
novo.
importa o tempo que você perca.
Doesn't matter how
Não importa
long
o
you
tempo que
lose.
você perca. Não existe tempo
There is
perdido.
no time.
Porque
Not
o
lost
que
time.
você cultiva,
Whatever you
o
cultivate
que você almeja,
Whatever you
cultiva,
want.
o que você rega,
and the water
você absorve
is
na
what you
hora certa.
absorb at
Isso
the
para
right
mim,
time. This for me
isso para mim é um momento muito
Is
sério na minha
a
vida.
very serious moment in my life.
Pá, morreu meu mestre.
My
Aí
master
eu
has
venho para aqui
died.
para uma onda
And I come
por
here to this
curiosidade, porque é,
crazy thing for curiosity's
é
sake.
meu ambiente, meu
Because this is
universo
my
é esse
ambient,
aqui.
this is my universe.
Eu acho isso lindo,
This
que é o
is
que eu
beautiful.
acompanho, é o que eu faço
This is what I
sempre.
do and go after.
Aí eu encontro isso aqui
And
agora
I
com
find this
você,
from
cara,
you.
você veio,
Yeah.
você é o
Nossa.
enviado
Yeah.
do céu.
I found you here and you
Ah,
are
yeah.
sent
Yeah,
from the heavens.
Give me a hug. Dá um abraço nele, Renato. Pra gente tirar uma foto.
Aí mesmo que você tiver com qualquer doença, eu morro com você. Eu abraço você.
Que legal.
Foda-se os macacos,
Fuck
sabe?
the monkeys. If you have any disease, I'll die with you.
Foda-se os macacos.
Fuck the monkeys.
So the instruments are like this.
Ele vai
So
ensinar.
so these ones are two things. These are a little. Yeah, it's a little. Can you tell them it's a little? It's a portable instrument that is kind of rough.
Ele diz que é portátil, então não é tão refinado quanto os que ele instala ali. É um negócio mais.
And then this is the.
Do the bending of the tape. take. To the ending of the tape.
So this one here.
Futiliza na época. Isso é microfone?
Like Evo.
Ele capta a ressonância, ele capta a ondulação aqui. É mais ou menos um microfone, mas ele
É um imã, né? Um imã.
Campo magnético.
só que ele devolve a ressonância pro negócio.
É trena, isso
É a trena. Ó, quando ele treme, ó. Ele pega o que captou, tem que ser aquele. Pega o dele, Renato. Pega o dele, Renato. Let's do. Yeah.
So this is making.
Olha que legal. É o que ele treme que dá o som, é isso. Olha.
Aí você pode correr aqui pra lá e pra cá, isso aqui. Né?
Sim, ele é um imã bem forte, ele cola.
Ele só pega bem, mas aqui pega tudo. Se for fazer aqui, tem que
Porque ele
pegar
vibra
tudo.
aqui, ó.
O Tom tem springboard.
Springboard, yeah.
Eu adoro springboard.
He loves the springboard.
Yeah.
É isso. Eu gosto muito dele. Eu gosto muito do crustáceo. Sabe?
He likes crustáceo.
Crustáceo, a peça que ele fez. Aquela que é assim, metal e umas hastes assim que toca com.
Yeah. The crustacean. Crustacean.
Aquilo ele dá aqui, ó. Aquilo ele dá isso aqui, ó. Ele dá aqui também?
Sim. Isso, olha.
This is a radio.
Isso é o rádio FM, ó. Cada um é uma estação mal sintonizada,
Só a estação da estação.
Olha lá.
Também já está registrado aqui, né? Lembrado.
Cada botãozinho aí pula uma frequência pra frente.
Florisbela, assim, viu? Minha Florisbela, não tem onda assim aqui? Aquela cantou, minha Florisbela. Isso aqui me lembra uma coisa chamada salsa em carne.
It reminds me of salsa em carne.
Salsa em carne, isso aqui é do caralho.
It's awesome.
Ela que faz
Meninas que já recebi. Se falasse, a gente vê que as músicas macho já são.
Sei devagar, isso aqui é muito.
Delicado.
Não pode ser porra.
The one that is not a travel version sounds much cleaner.
Pô, faça um som aí, por favor. Aqui, ó, uma coisa boa aqui, ó. Isso aqui dá bem pra caralho, ó. Aqui, ó. Eu pensei que fosse melhor. Apertar mais aqui.
Yeah, they need it up a little.
Aqui, ó.
Isso aqui se pode ver, vai ver.
Aí.
Só para não derramar, né?
Não dá porque é vidro, se fosse cristal, não dá. Vidro não dá, não. Vidro daria, cristal daria até com o dedo assim.
Legal.
Aqui. Com aquele museu lá, Museu da Música de Paris. É maravilhoso, né?
In Paris, the Museum of Music in Paris.
And Paris, yeah, that's nice.
Eu fiquei indo 15 dias lá nesse museu.
He went there for 15 days
Se
straight.
pela música, se pela música.
Pela música,
O Jackson tá tocando com
Vamos
você aqui,
criar
ó.
um
Jackson
clima, cara. Vamos criar um clima, vamos. Vamos criar um clima aí.
He said to start playing
Inventa o clima, vamos.
Quebrou tudo.
to create an ambience.
Okay. Let me.
O frase vai ajudar lá. O frase tá lá. Não é responder lá.
Okay.
Agora tinha um loop aí, tinha alguma coisa aí. No PlayStation aí, não, né?
Lá no meu frase tava.
Era o outro que tava fazendo.
o frase tava
Porque
fazendo.
eu tava ouvindo esse trabalho.
Isso, essa parte.
Pensando que tava saindo isso daqui também, não.
Ele tava fazendo.
Ele que tava mandando.
Isso,
Que
barbudo.
legal, que o banco muito
Vou. O Jackson tá num grupo que ele.
Não botar no YouTube, no meu
Isso, pode.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Super nice to meet you. Yeah.
Muito bom, muito bom.
É Psychomusic isso. Psychomusic.
Yeah, see.
Não é pra maluco, não é pra quem tem ideias.
It's not for crazy people. It's for people who have ideas.
Sim.
Muito bom, muito bom.
Adoro.
Eufrásio, não deixei você falar, cara. Quiser dar um alô aí pra galera, pra gente. A gente vai caminhando para encerrar.
Fala, Eufrásio.
I'll let Eufrásio talk a little because we didn't give him a chance before. Feels very nice. MIDI Lab, do it yourself. That reverb with a wall on top. Jimbo Jones said, very nice. MIDI Lab, love the setup.
Just like to say thanks for the opportunity, Otávio and guys. Thank you very much. It was very, very fun, you know.
Está agradecendo, tá falando.
Thanks, Eufrásio.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. It was very nice.
Namastê!
Namaste.
And I'd like to say thanks to Phil, Synesmedia. Synesmedia, thank you very much. He didn't get into the transmission, but he was here in the chat all the time and before with us and setting this all up. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.